This fixture has been a bit tarnished already before the ball is even kicked, and it's not really anything to do with Arsenal, of course, but there's a lot of media attention for completely the wrong reasons. And lads, like, I know I should have probably said this to you a little bit earlier, but again, if you're not really comfortable speaking about anything, it's completely fine. But I think it's definitely something that needs to be brought up. You know, we've seen this in the past with Slavia Prague, going back as far as Romelu Lukaku was subject to racist chanting by, I'm not going to say the Slavia Prague fans, because I think that is a bit unfair. A section of the Slavia Prague fans. We've seen it with Nelson Semedo playing for Barcelona. He suffered the same thing. Again, I'm not going to say the fans, I'm going to say a section of the fans. Although there was no fans in the stadium for the tie against Rangers, we actually saw one of Slavia Prague's players involved. And what was allegedly said was said. We've heard the stories and we've seen the statements. And I think it hit home a little bit more for Arsenal fans, because this is a former Arsenal player. Glenn Kamara was an Arsenal trainee, Arsenal youth product. So I think that's why, look, completely rightfully so, it's out there in the media, because this is something that has been an issue forever. And it just feels like with all the, all the efforts that are being made to stamp this sort of thing out of the game, and then you see that, like, okay, you can't blame the fans for what happened that night. This was coming from a player, which was even more disgraceful. It's absolute madness. I seen statements and that, and again, look, I've seen what went out on social media from a section of the fan base, and it was like absolutely disgusting behaviour. And again, look, I'm inclined to say a section of the fans, because I think as Arsenal fans, we've had times where we felt like we've been, kind of tarred with the same brush with certain, social media outlets, kind of being the face of Arsenal fans and representing Arsenal fans. And if certain people say certain things, the belief is all Arsenal fans think this and all Arsenal fans say this. And definitely my experience since I started this whole YouTube journey has been anything but what we see in the media. I haven't come across any fans who are, of the same mindsets and beliefs. I've come across fans who have different beliefs and different perspectives, but it's not done in the same way as reflected in the media. And again, this is why I don't think it's fair to... I've seen all sorts posted about Slavia, the club, Slavia's fan base, the players, everything. I don't think it's fair to, again, tarnish everyone with the same brush, because there was 11 men on that pitch, and one man, as I understand, one man made a comment. So the eyes are on this one guy, and then a section of the fan base came out. So again, I'm not having a go at the whole of Slavia. I'm sure there's plenty of good people involved with the club, and hopefully pretty soon I will have representatives from the club appearing on the channel, and I would like to get a bit more in depth with it. But yeah, what went on was, as I said, it's disgraceful, especially this day and age, that still exists. And coming from a player, like, the players are supposed to be like the most educated on this kind of matter, so to see it was, it's not good. It's not good at all. But it is going to take away from the tie itself, and understandably so. But as I said, it has to be talked about. It has to be brought up. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask, obviously, everyone's opinion. First of all, what do we feel about the tie itself from a football point of view? And if you want to say a piece on what happened and what's being reported in the media, that's completely fine. And if you don't want it, that is completely fine. Just from my personal point of view, as I said, yeah, I think it needs to be highlighted and a lot more needs to be done. And I've read statements from the club itself, and to be honest, I think it's absolutely pathetic. I've read stuff from their media outlets who are on Twitter, with the blue tick representing them in English, and I thought their Twitter responses were absolute dog shit. And I've read some of the stuff that's been posted on their website, and I feel like instead of owning up and saying, you know what, this is an issue, to me it feels like the book has been passed and the blame has been passed. Like, I've seen stuff going back as far as Lukaku saying, he should apologise because he said the whole stadium was chanting and jeering certain things when it was only a portion of the fan base, as if to say he should apologise for saying everyone said this. It's like, no, fuck that. He should not apologise. He should not have to apologise. Like, so yeah, that's my feeling on it, and this is why I reached out to certain people at the club and I said, look, if you want to come on, I want to speak to you because there's so much that needs to be asked and there's so much needs to be said. And as I said, I know that doesn't represent everybody that's associated with that club. I'm sure there's good and bad in every club. We have it in our own fan base. We've seen our own players go through this kind of abuse from our own fan base. So it exists everywhere. But yeah, look, Suls, I'll start with you. First of all, your feelings on Slavia as an opponent, good, bad, indifferent, what are the chances of us getting through? And if you want to say anything at all, you've got the mic, as they say. So over to you.
Yeah, in terms of footballing, there's not a lot anymore. They've made this bigger than a game. They've made it this way. It stems from Semedo, Lukaku, now Glenn Kamara. The fans straight after come out on the hooligan page and go, Glenn Kamara is nothing but an N-word. That's another problem. How many? No, you can say that, it's only a few people, but how many times do they get away with it? It can be a section, but when are we going to take action against it? It's getting ridiculous. What, you're going to give them a petty fine for it? I'm starting to not feel. Once is a mistake. Twice is a mistake. Third time is a choice, and then the fourth time you're making a choice. How many times? What? All right, tell me, please, right? Someone, what the hell have Slavia Prague done? Right, that's showing that they condone this. You sacked the player. You've ripped the contract. You want that associated with your club. That's why he's still there. And I'm also going to come on to another point, right? I am absolutely disgraced by how people have reacted as well. You want the guy injured. I'm sorry. Why do you want to stoop to their level? They already think we're barbaric. They already think we're here to take over. And you want to go and injure the man. I'm sorry, but there's too many uneducated, incompetent people talking on the issue. I don't want anything bad to happen to him. Yes, he should be fined, he should be punished, and he should have that. But in terms of telling me, right, that he deserves physical, assault, I'm sorry, that I don't condone. Because you don't stoop to the level. If you really, truly want to fight racism, you do everything in your power to show them you're everything they believe you are. They believe we're violent. They believe we're here to be this sort of thing. We're barbaric, we're this, we're that. And then when you show it, that defeats the whole point. I don't want no one to double foot tackle him like I've been seeing on Twitter, Facebook, and all of this. All I want, right, is proper action to be taken. If I employed someone or if I had someone working with me that was racist and he still had a job, I'd leave. Because I'm not condoning that shit. That's the problem. It's not, the club can come out, make statements, do this, do that. But, if the fans do it, I can understand all you can do is ban the fans from the stadium. But when one of your players does it, you have to take serious action. Not just come out with petty statements that mean nothing. That's not action. That's you saying, yeah, he made a mistake, innit? Like, he said what he said. Oh, yeah, we don't really condone it, but guess what? We're going to allow him back in. Yeah, we're just going to, just come here, do what you want. Say it again if you want. Yeah, we'll just condone it again for you. What action is being taken? It's not just Slavia Prague. There's many teams. All we do is give petty fines away. It's not enough. These men are multi-millionaires. Do you think money matters to them? They'll make that back in a few minutes anyway. By the time the court hearing is fucking done, or whatever decision they need to go and make, or whatever courthouse or regulators or whatever, they made that money back. They don't give a shit. They make more than the average person. Do you really think finding them is going to do anything? And when people say it's an education matter, I'm sorry, but to call someone the N-word is not an education. What education do you need? Do you not know the slave trade? I got taught that when I was fucking 4. Not to call someone the N-word. If my mum heard me call someone the N-word, I'd tell you what, right? I'm not even black, right? But I'd get smacked up. My granddad would smack me up. Right? Even if my great-granddad, if he was alive, would have smacked me up. If you want to talk about the ages, right? They would do the same with me. They'd smack me up for even using the word. And I'm not saying I have any right to say it, or Ryan has any more right to say it than anyone, but we'd get smacked up for using the word. That's the problem. When you allow these people, when you enable them, that's when it becomes a problem. I don't know what I said there. No, I don't condone that. I'm sorry, I don't. I'm 100% against this mentality because I've said it many times, they think we're barbaric. If you want to end racism, there's ways to do it. It's not just condoning the action. You have to take strict. They should be. But Suarez got banned. That's showing intent. Okay, we're taking this seriously. They gave him I think it was a few months ban. That's a step in the right direction. Obviously, you can't just come in and just fucking enforce everything and take everything away from some. But you have to show that he should not be allowed to play. UEFA should come out, or whoever, the regulators of Slavia Prague, or their sort of league ambassadors or whatever, need to come out and say he can't play. If you're serious, the club themselves should have banned him for 6 months, 7 months, or whatever. Yeah, that's showing that you care. Not, because we give fans lifetime bans when we catch them. What are players getting? Because they're just as bad. So. But, that's what I wanted to say, both points, because I don't think it's fair that we talk about the racism, but then we don't talk about how the fans have reacted. I'm not in favor of, physical assault of anyone. I'm sorry. You have to deal with things in the right way. We're in a professional environment. Deal with it in a professional way. Yes, harsher action needs to be taken, but that's what you do. We're not in the dark ages. We're not meant to be barbaric. Let's not show that side of us. I'm not saying we've got it, but let's not show it. But when it comes to the football, right? This is now the world against them. They've put so much, on there. And Arsenal, you don't have a fucking reason not to turn up in both legs. Whether we beat them 10-0 in the first leg, I want another 10-0 in the second leg. I want to humiliate these guys on the pitch. Because UEFA haven't banned them. They haven't said we're taking them out of the competition and whoever they were playing are going to come and play us. Humiliate them. Absolutely demolish them to the point they can't even talk. Yeah, that's what I want. If they don't turn up, sack the club. Every single player that doesn't turn up for that game, sack them. Rip their contracts up. Because what motivation do you need? We are one of the biggest representation of the BAME community within our club. Right? What do you need? Aubameyang, what do you need? Partey, what do you need? Gabriel, what do you need? Saka, what do you need? Pepe, what do you need? There's so many youngsters as well. Balogun. This has now become a game, against racism. It's bad that's what we're talking about. Because I'd rather be talking about how good Slavia Prague have done. But unfortunately, this taints that. This tarnishes that. And when no authority is taking any action, we have to talk. I've always said I'm never going to use my platform not to talk about this issue because it's wrong. But I don't want to get into too much of a tangent because it's something that rips my heart. Because people that haven't suffered it right will never understand the pain of feeling like you have to prove yourself. more than anything else. Why is it that Glenn Kamara got absolutely racially abused, right? And we're here talking UEFA aren't doing anything. We have to fight ourselves for this. Let's fight in the right way. Let's not stoop to their level. But yeah, before I get a bit emotional about it, I'll let someone else talk.
Yeah, no, Souls, like I do definitely agree with the points you're making, and yeah, like I like that mindset of like, don't stoop to their level. Obviously, look, in the heat of the moment, people are gonna say, oh, this should be done to the player and 2-foot tackle them and all that. But at the end of the day, it shouldn't have to come from the players. The players shouldn't be the ones that have to take the action. And even like obviously UEFA have to be accountable, and whoever involved, like if you want to, or maybe the Czech league, the Czech FA or whatever need to have a look at this as well. But this day and age, it's crazy to think that anyone should have to get involved in an issue like this. Like this is, and it's 2021, for God's sake. Like people shouldn't have to be teaching people about this kind of a thing. It's fucking madness. And yeah, like I said, it's definitely an emotional subject. And like I've spoken to Souls kind of offline about this kind of a thing, and Albert and a couple of other people. And I like that. Like a lot of people probably sit here and kind of go like, what do you know about racism? Like you're a white guy talking about this and that. But on a really minor level in comparison, like look, obviously I'm Irish. I've experienced I used to work in the airport. I'm not going to tell the story, but I've had stuff said to me from different nationalities, and it's all been Irish orientated. And for people that don't know, like I do have a daughter who is mixed race, has like an African American background and ethnicity as well. So like, yeah, I'm never really going to experience this. So from my personal point of view, obviously I can never fully, understand. But like in terms of like that thinking of my daughter, like I couldn't imagine, her having to experience this kind of a thing. So like I do take it very, very serious, But yeah, Liam, again, your kind of thoughts, and like I said, lads, if there's anything you're not comfortable talking about, look, it's completely cool. Like, but yeah, like your kind of thoughts on the tie itself and Arsenal's chances. I know it's going to be tough, lads. It is, because it's a sensitive subject. It's not an easy thing to talk about, but I do think it can't be. It can't be just pushed to the side. It can't be overlooked, and it can't. We can't just act like it's not going on. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, I don't know. It's one of those where you say, yeah, we could talk about it day and night and every episode, and who's going to see it, and is it going to change anything? But look, as long as people are silent, how are we ever going to bring the awareness and make changes? So. If we can contribute in any way, I'm definitely more than happy to highlight it. But yeah, sorry, Liam. Yeah, your thoughts.
Listen, this issue that's being raised. There's so many people and institutions out there that need to be doing more. Social media as a whole, FIFA, UEFA, the whole football community. This issue is so deep rooted that even for, say, the fans to racially abuse, the issue is even bigger than that, because this issue is so deep rooted that this isn't just about the fans. Like you said about the Lukaku thing, the fact that the club, instead of just owning up to the few idiots, whatever they want, however they want to word it, the few idiots, we don't condone it, that's it, move on. But to then have that grey area of, but like you said, but Lukaku should apologise. What, because he misused a word of saying it was the whole stadium? Couldn't give a shit if it's 1% or 100% of the stadium. At the end of the day, he's highlighting that there's a major issue. And your issue is that he's called out too many people instead of you calling out the actual racist people. Like, that shows where your mentality is as a club and within the football community, that you're more hurt that this man hasn't been racially abused, but he's calling out too many fans. Like, Jesus, are you not hearing yourselves? Like, you are then massively part of the problem. And also that this got highlighted on social media the other day, that people forget this, that Rio Ferdinand failed a drugs test and got an 8-month ban. I'm still waiting for a racist person on the pitch to receive a bigger ban. They're getting 10-game bans for racially abusing someone. Yet you miss a drugs test, not even fail one, by the way, miss one, and it's an 8-month ban. Sorry, get your priorities right. Like, how are you giving a bigger ban to someone that's missed the drugs test, to someone that's outwardly racially abused someone? Like, Jesus, we wonder why there's such a big problem. We can't even sort out the problem ourselves within the biggest sport. It's on the biggest platform that everyone watches football around the world. If that can't sort the problem out, what the hell can? And social media at the moment is an absolute joke. You know, I call it toxic Twitter. And it is only getting worse that there is so many idiots and morons that almost want to wear this racist badge to show their friends as a badge of honor. Oh, look what I've done. Look what I call this. Look what I call this professional footballer. Oh, how funny I am. No, you're a fucking clown and idiot. And at the moment, it's getting worse and worse that people are going, oh, that guy put in a bad performance. Do you know what I'll do? Do you know what will be funny? I'll show my mates down the pub. Look what I said to him. What? And the worst thing is their mates then find it funny. And then it gets sent around social media. And it's just like, this is the problem. It's so deep-rooted that this isn't even about football anymore, because it's just in society that, like I said, look, like you said, Anthony, it is hard for me to talk because, you know, maybe, you know, I've not had sort of, you know, racial abuse thrown at me, but I still feel I can talk on a whole that more needs to be done, more needs to be aware, and more needs to be done to raise what the hell is actually going on. And say social media, people like Facebook and Twitter and these big platforms, sort out who comes onto your platforms before allowing them to just have a free, like, you can be anyone on Twitter and just basically have, you know, you can have 20 accounts, say what you want to 20, 30 people online, racially abuse loads of people, get your account closed down, and then just have another account. So you're not even getting rid of the problem because you're just shutting one account down and they're just setting another one up, you know. And listen, so much needs to be done about this. You know, it's not just about football, but to try and, you know, get into the game as best I can. You know, Slavia Prague, their last 4 games in the Europa League, 2 against Leicester, 2 against Rangers. They conceded 1 goal, so that's decent from them. But this is also a team that have conceded 6 goals in 4 against Hapoel Beersheva and Nice. So football terms, we can get at them. We should have enough. We know that we're good enough to win on the day. But like Sol said, you know, this is bigger than the football game now. This is almost, you know, and that's the thing, you know, you've now got rival fans that are going, do you know what? Do it for football. Do it for the right reasons now. And that's the thing. It's nice that, not nice, but it's good to see that people can come together in such a bad sign. And obviously, again, during this issue, you're really seeing who the people are that wanting to be racist, which again is a problem that people don't care enough. But people need to come together and go, this is more about football. This is about going out there on that pitch and showing a statement of intent. And like Sol said, you batter them in the first game, you go and do it again. You humiliate them in the way that, unfortunately, we can. We can only do it, you know, Arsenal can only go on that pitch and humiliate them on the pitch. Go and do it. Go and show them.
It's just doing it the right way. That's all it is.
Listen, man, you're right. Look, it is, you know, we say the right way. Of course, look, you know, you have to call them out for what they are. But on the pitch, all we can do is get the win in a good way and really show what we're about and just end this absolute shit that's going on right now.
Yeah, do you know what? Like, in a sense, like you said, Liam, that yeah, it's great that everyone is kind of uniting against this, and like from a football sense, you know, rival fans are kind of jumping on it and kind of going, you know what, yeah, do it for, you know, for the whole fight against like racism and all that stuff. But in a sense, I'm a little bit annoyed that the fixture is still going ahead, and that's not like from a selfish Arsenal point of view of like, well, you know, give us a bye into the next round. Like I don't care. Don't give us a bye. Like bring Rangers back into it or whoever, you know, and let us play them in the next round. Like I think to allow the tie to go ahead is almost excusing it, because it's a way of saying, you know, like what they might slap a fine on them, but yeah, sure, it's fine. Like what happens if Slavia Prague want to win that competition now, and what message does that send? And like, there's no reason why they can't. I mean, like, you know, they're in this stage of competition, but it just feels like, you know, you have to do something. You know, you have to do something more drastic. Like this sort of thing happens, and in normal circumstances, like they play a game behind closed doors and that. It's like, no, it's got to be more serious than that. You know, it is a bit of a catch-22, because, like I said, not everyone at a club is associated with what goes on. Not everyone shares the same mindset and mentality, and to punish a club, like again, the 10 other players on the pitch at that time might have had absolutely nothing to do with what one player said and how one player feels and whatever. And I can understand, yeah, it's a little bit harsh to punish those 10 players, but that has to be the harsh reality. You know, that's got to be. I just think, you know, more has to be done. More has to be done. Like, you know, that has to be a harsh message sent. And I think it's got to the point where, you know what, yeah, fuck it. Like, you've got to, if you're going to punish one, you have to punish them all. And then maybe people might start turning around and say, you know what, you fucked that up for us, you know, because of, you know, your fucking backwards mindset and all that sort of stuff. I see a comment there in the comment section saying my mic is playing up a little bit, so apologies if it is. This has happened to me a couple of times. I just quickly unplug, and hopefully I'm back and okay. But yeah, look, I'll shut up because I'm probably annoying people with the sound, whatever. But yeah, Ryan, I'll get your thoughts.
Well, I mean, you know what? This thing's been going on for way too long. All right. I mean, we've seen players on social media get, you know, even the other day. Of course, I'm going to touch on the Rangers incident with Prague, but even after our game, look, we've called out Aubameyang saying he had a poor game, but absolutely disgusted seeing under the comments, because I think Lacazette gave him a trophy for scoring 300 goals or something, right? But the comments that I saw, monkey emojis and racist abuse, it's pissing me off. It's pissing me off. I've seen this. I've gone through it myself in my time, you know, growing up. And look, you wait for. Look, do you know what? My thing is, you wait for. They don't want to do anything, and it pisses me off because they just let shit like this continue and continue. And the fact that, you know, Slavia Prague ain't doing nothing about it, they're pretty much kind of supporting it. It makes me fucking sick. So something needs to be done. I mean, I've said this time and time again on social media, on Twitter, and Liam, you touched on it perfectly when you said about, you know, accounts being disabled and then they're gonna come back, you know. And what pisses me off is the fact that there's words, racist words on there. You can still type it, and they're not blocked. Hell, you know what? I even go further than that. And this might sound a little bit silly. FIFA, for example, you know, the football game. There's times where I've gone on, like, you know, you're playing your friends and pro clubs and stuff like that. The word's still there. the word's still there. There's people writing these words and that. And this is the thing. We're gonna be fighting this shit forever. And no one's doing anything about it. It's pissing me off. Every single day we go through this and not enough is being done. And what happened to Kamara? I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, this game is so important now. Like, I don't know, man. Like, listen, I hear people saying, you know, the guy's got to get his leg broken, this, that, and the third. And I hear that, but we're giving them what they want. And we need to take some action. Fuck that. The player should be banned. Simple. Right? That's as simple as that. But we go out there and we smash them out of the fucking Europa League. That's what I want to see Arsenal do. It's as simple as that. But I'm just going to keep my comments as minimal as that, because when I talk, I start saying some crazy shit. So I'm just going to say it like that, man.
Yeah, no, look, that's fair. And look, I appreciate like everybody, you know, giving their thoughts. Is my sound okay for everybody, or is it still a bit funny? Yeah. Yeah, like again, I understand the people saying, you know, go out and break the guy's leg and do this, that, and whatever. But yeah, like Ryan, like what you said there, that's giving them what they want, and this kind of goes back to one of the absolutely pathetic statements that came from their website, and I was shocked reading it. It's complete pass the book, you know, attitude and mindset, and honest to God, I looked at it and I like I said, look, I've not experienced this on obviously any kind of a similar level to a lot. But man, I was fucking fuming reading the statement. They were trying to turn it around on the website towards camera and saying, you know, well, in the game, this was the worst that our players had ever experienced in a European tie in terms of being kicked. And they said our goalkeeper had to go to hospital after the game to get 10 stitches in his head, and basically saying, you know, Rangers kicked us off the park and no one's talking about that. And then they talked about pressing charges against Camara for after the game, apparently assaulting, was it Andre Kudela, I think is the guy's name, apparently assaulted him in the tunnel. And they were saying Steven Gerrard was there and all this. And instead of being accountable and like, can you blame the guy? You know what I mean? Like can you blame the guy for being upset? And for me, it further enhances my belief that something was said, because the guy is trying to deny he said what he said, and he's trying to say I said something different. Why the fuck is the guy chasing you down the tunnel to thump the head off you after the game?
No,
like,
why would that same player chase Kamara for 30 yards just to tell him, oh no, fuck you? What the fuck, man? Like, come on, the context is right there. 30 yards to tell the guy to fuck. I mean, I'm surely you're going to meet each other on the pitch at some point. You can tell him then. Like, the narrative doesn't make sense. Why would the entire squad, turn like that? I can understand just Kamara and him having an issue, but then everyone else not. But you can clearly see more people hate that than they think. Why would you do this? Oh yeah, fuck off. Come on, man. Stop being stupid. Like, that's you know, the people who are saying that are just asking for trouble. Because you don't cover your mouth to tell someone to, I'll open, like, look at Rashford told Maguire to fuck off, the dickhead. You telling me you need to cover your mouth to say that? Like, that doesn't happen in football. We're fully aware. We've not got a problem if someone's going to tell someone to F off. Like, no one has an issue with that. So, the narrative doesn't add up to what's actually happened. If I look on the pitch, he's covered his mouth, chased the guy, him especially, for about nearly 30 yards just to tell him something. And you're telling me that there's no way that it couldn't have been something worse than telling him to F off. It doesn't add up if that is the case.
Yeah, and like I said, my biggest issue is, like, I would have more respect for the club and their PR department than that if they came out and look, acknowledge that something wrong happened and was said and whatever, and like this, like I said, like for anyone who hasn't seen it, like it's up to you if you want to go check it out on that. But I just felt like it was complete trying to. It's like playground tactics and say, well, I only hit you because you hit me first, and I only said this to you because you said it to me first. And like it was completely pathetic, completely pathetic. Trying to pass the buck, pass the blame, and I'd have more respect if they came out and said, look, this is an issue. We are aware of it, and we're going to do something about it. And in that way, all eyes aren't on the club and kind of going, what the fuck is going on there? What are they? Like, I'm sorry, like I know every club wants to back their player and that, but if your player is blatantly in the wrong, like, fuck that guy. Do you know what I mean? You have a squad of another 24 players or whatever they're allowed there. Fuck that guy. Get someone else in, because you don't need that. You don't need that. Like the football doesn't need it. Life doesn't need that. We don't need those people. And like I see a comment there. Best way to deal with it is ban the player for a year or two. No, fuck that. Like, scrap his professional football career. What's a year or two going to do? He's still going to be a racist bigot when he comes back, and he's still going to believe he was in the right. And then you're still allowing him to come back. If you worked in a supermarket and you racially abuse the customer, you're going to lose your job. You know what I mean? Because that employer doesn't want that. That bad light being reflected on it. Why the fuck's it different for a football club? Like, who is more in the media spotlight? That guy should not be allowed to play professional football ever again. Like, fuck him. Let him go play Sunday League football with his mates. It's like I said, more needs to be done, and it needs to be taken serious if they want any change being made, because it's all well and good, you're getting guys to take the knee, but they're taking the knee, and how many of them actually believe in what they're doing? Are they doing it for the cameras? It needs to be taken serious. You wanted to change, and like I said, look, you can do whatever you do to players, and they're still people with their beliefs and their upbringings and whatever. And yeah, it probably isn't gonna make a change. They're still gonna continue to be the way they are. Fuck them. They take their career off them and let them hurt a little bit, the same way the people that they abuse are hurting. So but finally, yeah, look, Dave, I'll move on to you. I think my mic might be playing up again a little bit, so I do apologise for the sound. I don't know what is going on here. I need to start paying this internet bill or something. But yeah, Dave, just quickly, your thoughts before we wrap it up.
Yeah, look, Grant, I feel, I suppose, a little bit stupid that we're talking about a game of football, because that's not really what it's about anymore. But look, at the same side, I do want to go out and batter him. Kamara came up through the youths at Arsenal. He is one of our own, So I think we should go out and try and batter him and do it in the right way. Look, if UEFA aren't going to, UEFA, I think they should be pulling them out of the tournament altogether. I don't look and I echo on what you're saying, and I don't want to buy into the semi-final. I'd rather play the two legs, but I think UEFA need to stand up now and do something about this, because you can't keep allowing this happen. It's happening too much. They're coming out. There's too many people condoning this as well at the same time, going, oh, but this happened, and this is this, and this happened before. Going, two wrongs don't make a right. So you have to step up and make decisions. Look, and if it came to that, I don't know what the lads' thoughts on this is. If the 7 other clubs in the Europa League came together and said, we're not playing in the competition with those in it, I'd stand behind it and I'd say, take that decision and let's go with it. Because with UEFA, it's all, they're looking at what's going into their pocket. They don't care about anything else. So you hit them in the pocket and hit them where it hurts. That might start waking them up a little bit. It's too easy on Twitter, too easy on social media. I came across an account today, the account was made today, racial tweet, that's it. Look, the account will get blocked or will put it into whatever suspension or whatever. But they're 2 minutes later, they have a new account. I have an account out now, Gunners. It's my podcast channel. I just signed up to that account. I made that account. There's no one asking me a question on why I'm making that, how I'm making it, where I'm going to stand at that account. I could just make the account. I can make a new account in the morning and I could say Republic of Arsenal 1, copy you. I'm sure who's going to stop me? So it needs to be policed more. And I suppose I know it is with a platform like this, with the way it's set up, it is hard to police it. So you do need to start giving some form of identification before you sign up to an account. And for any existing account, they need to be backed up with identification. But I suppose for the game itself, it feels a little bit stupid talking about it. Before the game, before everything happened, I had praise for Prague. I thought they were a good side. They looked a good side, and if you were to take everything out of it, I think it would have been a good tie. But it's not about that anymore. But as the lad said, I want to go out and hammer them. But at the same time, if UEFA aren't going to take the necessary steps, then I think there's a case for the other 7 clubs in that competition to say, right, we want nothing got to do with you. We're out.
Yeah, look, definitely. Look, they're asking players to take the knee. They're asking players to stand united. Like, this is an opportunity for the players and the clubs to be united. You know, like I said, something has to be done on a much larger scale. But yeah, look, lads. I'm sorry. I know I put you a little bit on the spot there, and I really do appreciate it. I just felt, yeah, look, we can't brush it under the mat. You know what I mean? It has to be talked about. Definitely, something has to be done. And yeah, look, it's unfortunate that, look, this is life, this is reality, and this is the reality of football. This is all too common. It really is. Whether it's on Twitter, YouTube, in the stadiums, fucking professional football players. You know, yeah, it's madness. But no, look, lads, I really do appreciate like your time and your insight. And yeah, look, we'll wrap it up there. Again, sorry if my mic is a bit funny. I don't know what the story is, but like I said, I need to start feeding that hamster that runs around the wheel here that powers my internet.